chapter 5. Let's get into it. Alright then. So, in the beginning little part before chapter 5, I'm pretty sure this is our failed hero. I'm not quite so sure it's Kelsier anymore. It's probably someone else. Someone maybe who Kelsier feels like has a legacy that he needs to carry on, or he's the inheritor of, or something like that. But this person, whoever they are, at this point, when they said this or wrote this, they were very unsure and uncertain. They're probably really scared. I don't know of what. They're talking about the deepness needing to be destroyed. I don't know what the deepness is. It could refer to the mists. It could refer to possibly the Lord Ruler, or something else entirely. Right out the gate. A secret drawer with a false back. Why would you need a false back to a secret drawer? The drawer's already secret. Why do you need to hide something else? Like it's a secret within a secret. I can't imagine living in a world where that's necessary. Vin still doesn't believe that this plan is an actual plan. She still thinks it's a scam. I mean, if you're raised around scammers, you think everything's a scam. And she has trust issues. So, double whammy there. Yeah, I'm with Dox and Kelsier. Are you going to tell us how you're planning on getting more ATM? Because apparently it's very hard to get. Very closely policed. How are you going to get it? Even if you don't have to be delicate, as you say. I love this. So the pits really did drive you insane, eh? Completely, Kelsier said with a straight face. I like Kelsier's humor. Very, out of pocket. Really off the wall. You never know when it's coming. Okay, so something I've noticed as I started reading this book, especially in the prologue, and it's come up now here in chapter 5, is the theme of hope. Because in the prologue, one of the elders was talking with Kelsier, and he said, right, you come here, you stir up trouble, and then you leave us with hopeful young ones. And Kelsier didn't really respond to that, other than let me check. Yeah, no, he doesn't address the idea of him bringing false hope to the ska on the plantations. And then here in chapter 5, he says, people are attracted to vision. So Kelsier says, people are attracted to vision. Vision being another word for hope. So I find it interesting, I guess, for lack of a better word, that the theme and idea of hope seems to follow Kelsier wherever he goes, whether it's to plantations or into Luthadel. I think even if he doesn't directly address it all the time, it's something he's deliberately curating with his words, his appearance, and so on. No, Kelsier, why? He didn't realize he was observing his old custom this night until he glanced to the side, expecting Mare to be there next to him, as she always had been. Instead, he found only the empty air, lonely, silent. The mist had replaced her, poorly. Why? I don't want to cry today. Jeez. So, Kelsier and Mare weren't just husband and wife, they were also partners in crime, it seems. That's kind of cute. Okay, so Kelsey's thinking a lot about Mare here in this section. And I'm not sure what to call the feeling I'm feeling right now, but Kelsier is talking about how Mare was a misting and he had always wanted powers like hers, and she died before she saw him have his powers as a MISTBORN. But something that he says that's making me a little suspicious of his intentions is when Kelsier says Mare would never see what he would do with his powers. What are you intending to do, Kelsier? What are your plans so bad that you don't want your wife to have ever known about them or see them at all? I mean, we already know that Kelsier's a murderer, but what's the line that his wife represents that because she's dead he's now willing to cross? Yeah, Kelsier's got Vin pretty much nailed. She was paranoid, but not timid. No, Vin's not scared of anyone, but she's very paranoid about whether or not they're going to betray her. She's not afraid of betrayal, I don't think, but she's definitely suspicious of it at all times. Oh wow. Elementic powers are cool. I love seeing them actually in action, because in the prologue, Kelsier, we sort of saw Kelsier use tin, and then in chapter 2, I believe, we saw Kelsier drink a bunch of metals, but we didn't really see him use them. So I'm very excited to see this action sequence. The mists can sense allomancy. What are the mists? Are they sentient? I mean, I know they snatch people's souls, so I guess they're sentient at some level, but are the mists the deepness that the beginning section of the chapter was talking about? That could be interesting. But if that person saw the mist as evil, that person was not a MISTBORN, or even a misting. Though maybe mistings are afraid of the mist, and only MISTBORN can go out in the mist. I don't know. But if the mists were what that person was trying to destroy, then that adds a completely different level to the story. Because what if that person was trying to destroy all MISTBORN and all mistings because they're associated with the mist, and they saw the mist as bad, and they just saw the mist and the Lord Ruler as representations of that evil, and just blanket applied it to everyone with those kind of powers? That would be kind of horrible. I would be less on their side. What are haze killers? That name is terrifying. I don't want to meet them. Kelsier, why are you so nonchalant about meeting these people? They sound terrifying. Kelsier's skilled. I like this. This is probably how he escaped the pits. This pushing and pulling business. He's really good at it. Oh. Yeah. Kelsier has a lot of trauma. And he's kind of acknowledging it, but not really. I think he, despite all his friends, he really needs someone he can trust to talk to about these things, and I don't think any of his friends qualify for that. And I'm hoping that maybe he'll open up to Vin and tell her about his experiences and such, but I don't think he's going to trust her enough to tell her those kinds of things unless she trusts him enough to tell him those kinds of things about herself first. It's going to be interesting because Vin doesn't trust anybody. Kelsier also doesn't really trust anybody, but it's a different kind of mistrust. Like, Kelsier has faith in the people he works with, but he doesn't trust them enough with his own story. Whereas Vin's just like, I don't trust anybody with anything. Goodbye, back up, please, thank you. So I hope that they can help each other in that regard. Yeah, I don't like case killers. They're scary. Not in like the creepy way, they're just skilled. And they can anticipate what Kelsier is going to do, and that makes them scary. If I was a MISTBORN, I would not want to be fighting these guys. Please get out of there, Kelsier. I don't want you to die. If you're going to die, die in book 2 or something. It's chapter 5. You can't die yet. Nice, nice. Kelsier's doing a great job fighting these guys. If I had to guess, I would guess that he's fought them before, or at least has studied how they fight. Which is weird, because they study how his kind fight. So if he studied how they fight, that would be really funny. Oh no. We had to have more Allomancers enter the chat. We don't need you right now. We don't need this complication. Go away. Yeah, Kelsier, time to go. It was time to go, like, a long time ago. Oh, any night that ended with a group of dead noblemen was a successful one in Kelsier's opinion. Yeah, I'm beginning to agree with you. I don't want your wife to see you like this either. Alright, we are done with chapter 5. Let's talk a little bit about it. I am beginning to suspect that Kelsier's scars were caused by ATM, because whenever he's kind of thinking about that, like, his scars burn or itch, and that is my suspicion that, like, he was wounded in the pit and ATM got into his wounds, or they were caused by ATM, like someone had a weapon made of it or something. I don't know. But whatever the case, I think it's closely tied to that, and thus closely tied to his trauma about the pits. He's talking a lot about his wife in this chapter, so I think that's something that is going to need to be addressed if he's going to develop as a character. He needs to talk about it, talk about how he feels about it, how he felt about it, and the impact that it's having on his life, and he needs to be able to talk through those things and recognize those things before he's able to grow as a character and become a good mentor for Vin. And I do think he's going to be Vin's mentor. I'm pretty sure of it now at this point. And I would just like to really see them help each other out with their trust issues and trauma. And I think they can have a really good father-daughter, mentor-apprentice kind of relationship. So I'm really excited to continue the book. But that is it for today. I will see you all in the next video. Bye!